We are going to be talking about hemispheres. So a hemisphere is half of a globe, and there are 4 hemispheres. There's the northern hemisphere, there is the southern hemisphere, the western hemisphere, and the eastern hemisphere. On this slide, each part that is like a gray color is the hemisphere. So in the first picture, that gray area is the northern hemisphere. Now, the equator is going to divide the Earth in half, and it gives you the northern hemisphere, that is all the land and water above the equator, and it gives you the southern hemisphere, which is all the land and water below the equator. Feel free to use a world map in your textbook. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to see if you can figure out if it's in the northern hemisphere or if the area is in the southern hemisphere. The prime meridian divides the Earth in half and gives you the western hemisphere, that is all the land and water west of the prime meridian, or on the left side of the prime meridian. It also gives you the eastern hemisphere, which is all the land and water to the east of the prime meridian, or on the right side of the prime meridian. Okay, we are going to do some more questions. I want you to be able to tell me if the area is in the western hemisphere or the eastern hemisphere. Now we're going to keep this really simple. I will only pick places that are only in 2 hemispheres. So I'm not going to be picking places where it could be in both the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, because there are some countries that are split in half by the equator. There's other countries that are split in half by the prime meridian. Okay, let's put it all together. Each area that I give you will have 2 hemispheres. So your answer might sound like northern and western hemisphere. I would also always like you to put down either northern and southern first, and then I'd like you to put down western and eastern second. And the reason I'm going to be picky about that is so that when you do latitude and longitude, it's a little bit easier. So again, you're either going to pick between northern and southern hemispheres first, and you have to pick between one of those 2, and then you'll get to pick between eastern and western. So we'll always say something like it's in the northern and western hemisphere. We won't say it's in the western and northern hemisphere. Please excuse the bell that you may have just heard. All right, so let's try this. Which hemispheres is each place in?